All right, Cricky. So the first thing I like to ask people in this is, do you remember how we met?
Paul,
It's
that
going
is
way
such a hard
back.
question. Okay, I try not to really think about how I was, like, when I think about meeting you, I don't really remember because I was, what, 7 or 8?
Yeah, I know you were young because I was young too
yes,
back then.
Definitely crazy. So I cannot say that I remember the specific moment we met, but I definitely remember my family was just living at a hotel at the time where
Yep,
you were.
where I was working at the time.
And you definitely, it was fun because we got to know a lot of the staff pretty well, but we were always just like, Paul, the actor guy that works here. And it was fun to have that connection with acting too because everyone else was not.
Yeah, that's my memory too, is just this amazingly wonderful, nice family, you know, all just coming in. I'm like, wow, there's a lot of them, and they're all great looking and very nice, and just what a good souls, good people.
Thank you, Paul. That's so sweet.
I always feel like you guys are a part of my, you know, family out here, you know.
We definitely feel that way. No, and also, yes, not to say you're good looking. Well, you are. Oh. But that was, my mom was always like, that cute one, the actor one that doesn't work you too well. And then it's like, Paul, the cute actor waiter.
Oh, I'll take it.
Yes,
I'll take it.
It's funny.
I'll give you 5 minutes to cut that out, okay?
No.
I'm going to have some tea, but I do want to ask you about, speaking of tea, I hear that you have a nickname, Cricket Tea. Oh, we got to talk about that on this show.
Did you talk to my mom?
Of course I talked to your mom.
Technically, yes. That is so funny if she actually brought that up. But yes, I definitely, Carrie gets mad because she is Care and she is Care Bear. And we call each other sis, and now it's like cool to do that, but we did it because we were sisters, obviously, back in the day. And then there is me, that we cannot even begin to list all the nicknames I have. I'm just the one that goes off the beaten path. I mean, Cricket's a nickname in itself, so then to bridge off of that in every way we have, and then Cricket Tea does exist.
Did that just happen, or is there an origin to that? Or
most of my nicknames have just happened. Okay. Just like it was like almost a malfunction of the mouth when it was said, and then it stuck.
And then it stuck.
Yes,
yeah, you go with it.
Cricket Tea. Okay, yes.
You know, it's funny you bringing up, like, Carrie has the one nickname, Care Bear.
Yes.
And then, of course, Philip, you know, the three of you.
Yes.
Which of the three of you is the wildest? I feel like it's you.
Oh, that's a funny assumption. That is a funny assumption. Yes. So basically, I am the quote-unquote rebel child. We're putting that in quotes because not at all. I am not that crazy or wild, but Carrie was just cookie cutter, just such a great daughter, and like, be like Carrie. And then there's Philly, and he definitely flies under the radar. He's definitely more... He just kind of flies under the radar. He's a great kid and whatever. Guy. Then it comes to me, and I'm the rebel child because of things like... first off, I definitely... rebel. Definitely put that in quotes. I am very... If someone tells me what to do, I'm just kind of a little bit more the challenger, and I just am like, interesting and whatever. And my mom, I'm always like, expect the unexpected, because if she tells me to do something, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Okay, I'm going this way. Like, I definitely am a little bit more testing the waters, but my rebellious act that really got me the title is my family's very weird about driving and very specific and very fearful with driving. So we all didn't drive till we were 18. My brother still doesn't have his license.
I was going to say, Phil still doesn't?
He's working on that. And he's definitely less afraid now, but we definitely, it's like generations back. I did not realize, like I have like a great aunt that just doesn't drive at all because she just is scared to, and it's like, that's a thing. So of course we're in LA. My mom doesn't drive on the freeway, doesn't whatever.
Yeah,
so when I learned to drive, I was like, I'm not going to be scared of the freeway. And my parents were like, you're just going to have to work up to driving on the freeway. We're not going to do that just yet. And I was like, I'm 18. I'm already anxious about this, and I need to like do it. So my rebellious act, one of them, was I just got on the freeway one day when I had my license and started learning and teaching myself the freeways. So, Paul, these are the kind of rebellious acts that have given me this name. I am not that crazy of a child, but yes, I am the wildest of us.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's within the perspective. Obviously, you guys are just manners, you know, decorum, like exemplary, you know. But when I was thinking about the three of you, I was like, well, I think Cricket is the wildest one. But I don't know if that's like, because I'm the youngest of the kids in my family too. Do you think
we might have a little more proof? I think.
Yeah.
Or we have just the wild card, expect the unexpected. Also, I'm definitely like the sassy, feisty one. Feistina is another nickname I grew up with. So I think we just have that little zest, probably stemming from, I feel like, I don't know, you're the youngest of how many?
4. Yeah.
I just feel like even if you don't feel like it, you had something to prove, and that's how I feel.
Yeah, and also sometimes we may seem a little more wild, I think, because, you know, 3 kids in your family, 4 in mine. The parents have seen it and heard it all by the time they get to the baby of the family. Yes. So we kind of get away with a little more. Definitely. Shout out to my family. As far as the family, tell me, so all 3 of you, thespians, as I said.
Yes.
Is there ever any sibling rivalry when it comes to like the pursuit of
What a great
the
question.
career? I mean, and I'm not looking for any like dirt or whatever, but you know, I know you guys are lovely and so supportive, but you know, I have siblings. I know how it goes.
Yeah. Let's get to the beef, Paul.
Oh, yes.
Just kidding.
No, we're
There
not
is
looking
no
for
beef.
dirt. It's
No,
just,
I'm
just something I
totally
was
joking.
curious about.
It would be fun if there was. Honestly, we're Team Wampler, and we kind of just have been the whole time. I think that the age gaps really help. Like, my sister and I are 5 years apart, 4.5. So it's like, funny enough, she did audition for the show I'm on now, and we both got called back for the same role.
Oh,
and then I
wow.
ended up testing and obviously getting the role. But it was just, or getting a different role. But it's just, even with that, we always forget. And she's always like, obviously it was so not meant to be for me. The cast is younger, like it's so your whatever.
Right.
And so even how she's handled that, I'm like, wow, that takes a lot, but also for her takes almost nothing, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
it's definitely, I give her a lot of credit on that. It's harder to compare when it's like, oh, Phil got that audition. It's like, he's my brother who's 2 years older.
no,
So
come
we're
on.
all, it's definitely a collective team effort. Also, we all share the same name, so a win for one of us really is a win for all of us. 'Cause
Exactly.
It's like, oh yeah, the Wamplers are doing that, the Wamplers are doing whatever, but it's so funny. I technically booked the first commercial. We would never have acted if it wasn't for the both of them. They've both done movies, which I've never done a movie. Like, we all just cover such different ground. So I just feel like it's all, we just get one new thing for one of us is a new thing for all of us, and it's just really exciting.
I love that. It's all about the support, the team effort, and like it also, like, especially with you and Carrie going up for the same role on Big Shot, like, you know, I see friends at auditions, and it's always like, it's not like a, you know, it's more like, oh, dude, hey, good to see you. Like, hey,
Yes.
if I don't get it, I hope you do.
Definitely.
Right? You know, because we always want to book it. You know?
But I'm very, everything happens for a reason, and she is too. So it's very like, okay, obviously if I was meant to book it, you weren't, or like if you were meant to book it, I wasn't. So it's really,
Yes.
and that's how I feel auditioning with friends too. I'm like, clearly if they wanted, that's why I'm the person that's like, wait, did you get out for this? Because you should definitely be in for this. It fits you so well. Because I'm like, I'm sorry. I used to do that with my friend who was like 5 foot and looked so different than me. And I was like, if they want you for the role, they definitely didn't want me for the role. There's no, you know what I mean? If this is what's meant to be for you.
I
Then
mean, and that's exactly like what we're about here too, is that idea of positivity. It's like, you know, not like, oh, I have to guard these auditions. I have to hoard, you know, this opportunity just for me because, you know, no, there's enough for everybody.
Definitely.
And everybody's not meant for everything they go out for.
Absolutely.
It works out as it should. People find their way into the roles that they should be playing.
Absolutely.
So as far as Big Shot, I'm curious because like there's a lot of legends that you're dealing with on that show. I mean, behind the scenes, you got David E. Kelley, Dean Lorey, Brad Garrett. Like, I mean, the history there, it's amazing. And then on camera too, John Stamos, Cameron Manheim did a guest star. Like, just some awesome talent. What was that experience like going into that? And were you familiar with all of these people's careers before you booked this role?
Okay, so yes, mostly the people, the actors more so. I've never been the best at knowing everything behind the scenes, but of course I knew Brad Garrett from Everybody Loves Raymond, all that. So definitely have, heard of people and knew that, but I think that was a little, almost less intimidating to me, if that makes sense, because I'm just like a young girl and like, maybe we'll get along, maybe we won't. I'm sure I'll be learning so much from them. So I kind of went into it with that, and then when auditioning, we did not know John was going to be a part of the show. And to this day, I swear, I'm such a John Stamos, Uncle Jesse fan. I was like, had I known he was a part of the show, I would never have made it past the audition phase. I would have psyched myself out so much.
You've just been geeking out too much and be like, ah.
It would have been the eagerness would have
That's
read
good.
so heavily that I would have never made it far in the process. So I was glad we found out it was him after we booked it. I was like, no way. So that, and then Yvette Nicole Brown, I grew up watching her on Drake and Josh, and she's so incredible. And then Jessalyn Gilsig, I had just previously watched Friday Night Lights was my favorite thing that she's probably done with my family, and she's recurring on that. And also one of our family favorite movies is called The Stepfather, and she's in that. So it's so literally I didn't even recognize that she was in it until we were watching it after I'd been on we'd done season 1, and we were watching like our favorite movie. We cozied in, and we were like, "That's Jessalyn, what?" So, and I mean, I've learned so much from all of them, and working with Cameron, who, I don't know if she's a method actress, but I definitely was scared of her the first couple episodes, and she plays kind of a stern, mean coach.
I was scared of her watching the episodes. I was like, look at her go. I mean, she came in that first scene and she just
hot
Just
and heavy.
shredded people.
Yes, she just very straight to the
Love
point.
that performance.
Yes, so I definitely, not like she was mean to us by any means, but she definitely,
Right.
I was like, I'm startled by her. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how she'll be, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was the last day of season 1. We were filming till like 1 a.m. She walks by, Tiana and I are sitting in a trailer, my friend Tiana and I, and she's like, I'm going to get soup. You guys want soup? And we were like, we're okay, thanks though. But
she
was
poison that?
yeah, I was like, I don't know if I
Method.
trust it.
Yeah.
No, and so she was had to get soup, but then she sat and she talked for us for like an hour. Truly, Tiana and I still talk about that conversation because she was so sweet, taught us so much. We learned so much about her and about the industry and about everything. And we took away some life lessons from that lady that day.
I'm sure. That's awesome. I mean, seasoned professional right there.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so obviously we know that things aren't always filmed in order, but
Yes.
Do you recall for the pilot, did you film in order? Like, was that first appearance when John Stamos kind of digs into you, when his character digs into you? Was that the first thing you shot with him?
I think it was. It definitely wasn't like the first day or anything. I think we'd filmed some other scenes with like just the girls before. So meeting him, I think it was that scene. And
Okay.
it definitely, I mean, we'd met him through table reads, all that jazz, but it was our
Right.
first scene with him.
Right, the first time you're in costume, in
Yes.
front of the camera, like doing it. So I'm just
Yes.
thinking about like, wow, that experience, like the first time on camera with him and he just like
Yes.
lays into you.
Yeah, it was a little bit scary. And again, I had to giggle for that scene for like 8 hours that day. It was a very long scene, and there were so many moving parts to it. So it definitely was a funny one to film. But he came in. Yeah, you don't want to. I was like, I'm making John Stamos mad on the first day. I'm laughing at something he said. I should not be doing this. I was testing the waters for Coach Corn.
So one of the other things that I feel like is very you, and also in tune with like what we try to promote here on the show, is in the season 1 promos, your character Samantha is described as the optimist. So I mean, I feel like that's very you in real life too.
I try definitely. I definitely have had seasons where it's definitely been harder and
Sure.
whatnot. Also, okay, weirdest thing, when testing for the show, I was testing for the role of Olive, who's played by Monique Green, and so it was a very weird process, and then we all tested for this character, Giggles,
Okay.
who didn't have a name and there was no breakdown for, besides she was like the sunny, optimist, giggly person.
Okay.
Obviously her name was Giggles. And so they didn't even know if she was gonna be a series regular at first, all this stuff. So when I found out I didn't book Olive pretty much immediately after testing, then they were like, but you are being considered for the Giggles character if they can even make it a series regular, whatever. So then when they did make her a series regular, luckily, and I ended up with the role, very luckily, it was very exciting. But they didn't really ever give a breakdown or whatever, so I just kind of like started going with it and was like, whatever they write for me, whatever. So towards the end of season 1, or somewhere in the middle, I talked to some of the writers more, and they were like, really, we just kind of went with whatever you did. We started writing to more how you are and whatever, and I was like, what? And I was really glad in the end I didn't know that, because that's like a lot of pressure, I feel like. But I was just being myself, and they started kind of writing to it more, which was funny. But yeah, because they just didn't really have, they had ideas for what they wanted for every other character, but mine was just kind of built along the way, since she wasn't even necessarily going to be a series regular at first. So yes, but she was written as an optimist from the start, and I try to be, and yeah, you definitely are. I mean, I catch that vibe from you as well, so.
Yeah. But we're all human.
Yes.
We have good days and bad days.
Definitely.
Like, we're human. Nobody's perfect.
Definitely.
But the general outlook, it's a good one to have.
Yes.
That's awesome that the writers like started to mold the character around you. Like what a compliment to you, your talent, and what you bring to the role.
Oh, thanks, Paul. That's so sweet.
Right?
Yes, I think they ended up doing that with all the girls to some extent, but mine was just the cleanest slate to start with. They were like, we just kind of started, and I was like, that's so
Yeah.
crazy, but it's very, very fun to get to also be. I can't decide if it's easier or harder to be so similar to yourself. Of course, some of the things she says and does I would not do, but I'm like, I can't decide if that's easier or harder, because you have to make it natural, because it's like something you almost would do, but also you're not fully a character. It's such a actor thing.
What about the way Samantha eats chips? Is that you or is that Samantha?
So.
Oh, there's a story here.
No, the thing I had beef with the writers with is I said, hey, Samantha's a real foodie. Why'd you write her like that? I was like, have you noticed that I'm big on food? Because she's like, where are the chicken nuggets? She's hounding Mac the chips.
Oh, we're going
And
to talk
so-
about the chicken nuggets.
Oh, yeah. So I'm just saying, it was so funny because they were like, we wrote her to you. And I'm like, she's just a giant foodie who's kind of giggly. Like, what are you trying to say? But it is true. I just thought it was funny if they'd happen to pick up on it. So, yes. But, you know, I think in times of stress, anyone can eat chips at that rate in that way. So I think that everyone has their moments, Paul.
It's fine. I was just curious. I was just asking the question. It's what I'm here to do. I appreciate that, how she eats the chips and loves to follow the cafeteria on her phone. And, oh, they have 6 kind of sauces today, which is awesome. But yeah, talk about the technology that they're using on set these days with the phone.
Yes, so I think that normally I was totally in that type of situation, would expect a black screen in my imagination to be going wild about what I wanted the sauces to be, whatever. But we actually have video playback engineer, Randall Green was behind that
Awesome.
one. There's a whole team for it, but he was always handing us our devices, and he was always like, the sauces are there if you want to like pay attention to that. We won't see them, but like just so they're there. And I was like, you are so sweet, and you're doing absolutely the most. So they definitely have come a long way in that. And if we have text pop up, normally they're like, we're not going to see it, but just so you have it for the story. And I'm like, you're really caring about the story, which is so nice, because I feel like they don't always dive that far in.
Yeah, as an actor, I love that attention to detail. In anything that helps me be in that moment, honestly, I'm all for it.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Just helps.
When I watch the show and when I see behind the scenes photos, videos, etc., this may sound cliche to say, but I get the sense it looks like you and your castmates are actually really friends and that y'all like each other.
Paul, we got so lucky. I truly have made some of my closest friends on this show, and we all get along very well. I definitely was concerned about that just in the casting process and when we were starting filming, not because of the specific girls, but I was like, we're throwing a bunch of teen, early 20 girls into working together all the time. It's basically high school. I was a little bit stressed.
Could be a disaster.
Yeah, but no, the mix, it just has all worked out very, very well. We all get along, and it's like you have, I love how many there are, because it's like, oh, like blah, blah, blah's in like a quieter mood today. Well, I'll go knock on this trailer over here because she'll be in a fun mood. So it's like we're always all just having so much fun together, and truly some of my closest friends, yeah.
Does anybody ever put like a do not disturb on their trailer door?
No,
which is understandable if they do, because sometimes you need a moment.
I think we all got comfortable enough with each other over the past, because we've been filming for over 4 years, basically. No, wait, I just jumped ahead a little bit, like 3.5, okay?
Okay.
But way too long because COVID was interrupting. But because we know each other that well, it's not even, it's just like, oh, don't talk to blah, 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 she's in mood today. Or if we open the door, it's like, not in the mood today, love you though. We're very like, it feels almost more like sisters in that way, where no one's getting hurt feelings and no one's offended by anything, because we're just with each other all the time. So it's just like, not today, don't have the energy. You're going to Crafty, I don't need a snack right now. Like, it's just, But we're always inviting people to do everything.
Awesome. I love getting all the little behind the scenes details of this stuff. I could talk to you all day, but we only have you for a limited amount of time, so we better roll into our next segment.